These are tragic. These are bad things that happen to people. I deal with things horribly, and I make jokes about things that I shouldn't. But I'm going to be trying to have some fun today, trying to make light of some of these. I am in no way being disrespectful. I respect what happened. I am not trying to be an asshole, right? So please do not kill me for that. Just trying to have fun. I understand that these were tragedies, bad things, but we can still have fun. Hello everyone, and welcome to Unresolved Mysteries. The scariest of scary. Unresolved mysteries, unsolved mysteries that nobody has ever been able to solve before until today. I, the greatest detective known to man, will be solving the mysteries. The mysteries that no man before was able to solve. So I sorted by unexplained death. I figured that wouldn't give us some room to work with. So let's start with this first one. The Yuba County 5 case is one that really tugs at my heartstrings. Recently a new podcast came out, Mopac Audio, and they had a surprising tidbit at the very end of the podcast. First, if you don't know the case already, here's a summary from the Wikipedia. All young men from Yuba City, California, United States, all with mild intellectual disabilities or psychiatric conditions, who attended a college basketball game at California State University, Chico, on the night of February 24th, 1978. 4 of them were later found dead. The 5th, Gary Mathias, has never been found. After the Davis team won the game, the group got back into Madruga's car and drove a short distance from the Chico State campus to Bears Market in downtown Chico. There, they bought snacks along with sodas and cartons of milk to drink. None of the men were seen alive again after that point. With the evidence not pointing to any clear conclusion about what happened the night the 5 men disappeared, police and the families were not ruling out the possibility that they had met with foul play. The eventual discovery of 4 of the 5 men's bodies seemed to suggest otherwise, but raised even more questions about what had happened that night. On June 4th, with the most of the higher elevation snow melted, a group of motorcyclists went to a trailer maintained by the Forest Service at a campsite off the road about 19.4 miles. It's very specific. The front window of the trailer had been broken. When they opened the door, they were overcome by the odor of what had turned out to be a decaying body inside. It was later identified as Ware's. Okay, let's see. Gary Mathias was the one that hasn't been found. Searchers returned to Plumas following the road between the trailer and the site of Montego. The next day they found remains later identified as Madruga and Sterling on the opposite sides of the road. Madruga's body had been partially consumed by scavenging animals. Only bones remained of Sterling, scattered over a small area. Ugh. Autopsy showed that they had both died of hypothermia. Deputies speculated that one may have succumbed to the desire for sleep that marks that condition's final stages, and the other refused to leave his side, eventually meeting the same fate. 2 days later, as part of one of the search parties, Jack Hewitt's father had found his son's backbone under a manzanita bush 2 miles northeast of the trailer. The next day, a deputy sheriff found a skull downhill from the bush, 300 feet away, confirmed by dental records later to have been Hewitt's. His death, too, was attributed to hypothermia. Interesting. Evidence in the trailer, Ware's body was on a bed with 8 sheets wrapped around it, including the head. The autopsy showed that he had died of a combination of starvation and hypothermia. He had lost nearly half his 200 pounds. The growth of his beard suggested he had lived as long as 13 weeks from when he had last shaved, which could be any time out in the wild, but wow. His feet were badly frostbitten. On a table next to the bed were some of Ware's personal effects, including his wallet with cash, a nickel ring with Ted engraved on it, and a gold necklace he also wore. Most puzzling to the investigators was how Ware had come to this fate. No fire had been set in the trailer's fireplace, despite an ample supply of matches and paperback novels to use as kindling. Heavy forestry clothing, which could have kept the men warm, also remained where it had been stored. A dozen sea ration cans from a storage shed outside had been opened, and their contents consumed. But a locker in the same shed that held an even greater assortment of dehydrated foods, enough to keep all 5 men fed for a year if that had been necessary, had not even been opened. Similarly, another shed nearby held a butane tank with a valve that, had it been opened, would have fed the trailer's heating system. This behavior was consistent with what Ware's family members described as a lack of common sense arising from his mental disability. He often questioned why he should stop at a stop sign, and one night he needed to be dragged out of bed while his bedroom ceiling was burning in a house fire, since he was worried about missing his job the next day if he left his bed. It also seemed that Ware had not been alone in the trailer, and that Mathias had possibly Hewitt had been there with him. Matthias' tennis sneakers were in the trailer, and the sea rations had been opened with a P-38 can opener, with which only Matthias or Madruga would have been familiar from their military service. Wow. So, not very unresolved, but there's some new info, so let's see if this helps. At the end of the podcast, she reveals that their team was one of the first to get fully digitalized copy of the case from the police. As they were going through it, they found an internalized memo from the sheriff from October 8th, 2020. It said Gary Matthias is believed to be a victim of foul play. This case remains open as a missing person/homicide case. It is the best interest of all involved that this letter not be forwarded to the Matthias family. Unless it was some sort of mistake, I can't wrap my head around it. Unless all 5 boys were classified as homicides, that means Gary left the cabin and ran into someone who harmed him. Interesting. So what it looks like is the first 4 where they wandered out into the night. I don't know if they got lost out there, they just couldn't think straight. So the first thing they knew was get into the cabin, get into the trailer or whatever it was, and stay there. And then eventually they just got too cold, I guess. They got frostbitten. They couldn't move, so they didn't move. They didn't try to do anything, and they just died. Well, that was the one. 2 of them were found outside. So yeah, it looks like Matthias or Madruga had military service at one point, which would mean they would know what was going on and enough to figure something out and try to get out of there. But it doesn't make sense why they would leave their friends unless they wanted to, and they knew he wouldn't be able to fend for himself, so they left him there trying to kill him. Okay, here's what happened. Are you ready? So one day these 4 boys, they're walking through the woods, they're tromping through the woods, right? And all of a sudden, they see a bear. So they run into the trailer. They see a trailer, boom, they sprint inside of it. Ha! Bears are stupid. They can't get into trailers. Everybody knows this. Bears cannot get into trailers or tents, and it's really cold. So they can't get outside to turn anything else on. They're listening for the bear. They're trying to find where the bear is. And as the bear falls asleep, one of them sneaks out, right? And then gets some food and sneaks back in. And then they eat the food. They eat all the food. They only got enough in that one locker, so they eat it, right? And then, when they think the bear is asleep, 2 more of them sneak out to try to find help, because they figured 2 would have a better chance than 1. But the bear knows, because the bear is a sneaky ninja bear. So the sneaky ninja bear hides behind the trees and waits for them. And when they start walking through the woods, the bear attracts, killing both of them, eating their flesh from their bones, and then hunting back. But in the time it took for the bear to kill those 2, Matthias, he was smart. He knew what was going on. He's a military man. He said, "You, stay here. I'll go get help." So he runs out, and then he runs to try to find someone, and the bear eats him whole. And that's the end of the story. And then the other guy died of frostbite because he was scared of the bear. There we go. Problem solved. I know. I am a genius. Incredibly smart.